Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some pretty crazy news over here where a lot of PlayStation fans are actually now massively negatively reviewing one of the most brand new Horizon DLCs, and a lot of folks are upset, a lot of folks are not happy, and basically there's been a lot of big controversy going on over here too as well. And on top of this too, we're actually seeing even other more bigger drama when it comes to other RPG makers, and just everything else all in between when it comes to the gaming universe. Like for some odd reason, I feel like these past 2 weeks especially, a lot of folks have been very unhappy, a lot of folks have been, well, complaining about almost every single game. Xbox and PlayStation 5 users have been all over the place, and well, it's kind of interesting news to go talk about, but kind of somewhat sad too as well. Where right now, like I said, Horizon Forbidden West, the brand new DLC, is getting utterly massively destroyed right now in terms of reviews, and well, people are not happy. So we're going to talk about this, talk about the drama, and hope you guys are all having a fantastic and lovely weekend. Make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We have the Twitter and Twitch stream down below if you guys want to hang out and chill. We also have all the Target and Amazon links too as well down below, and I appreciate you guys all so much for watching here in the first place. Now, odds on end, let's go and see if my camera's also really weird once again, and well, let's hope it actually is normal. Let's go, fingers crossed. So we will okay, once again, we will never actually be normal, will it ever again? Well, now you guys get to go have the ghost, and one of these days I'll fix this. I keep on trying my best to, and every single time I try to fix it, something else changes. So, very first and foremost, if you guys have missed it, the Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores DLC is actually getting review bombed right now for the PlayStation 5. I know this because I'm from the future, because I'm obviously a ghost over here in the lands of the gaming universe over here. But one kind of big thing to know is that typically, when it comes to games and game review bombs, usually when there's like a really big, large amount of review bombs, they typically either have a reason for it, or sometimes it's orchestrated for outside websites, 4chan, just people being outside, like just in general, not happy with it, or whatever it might be. But right now, Horizon Forbidden West's brand new DLC is one of the lowest rated Sony platform release we've actually seen, like, almost in general. It's very, very bad to go and see. So Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores just came out and has actually received a very strong critical reception. So a lot of big kind of game companies and users and everyone else, they're like, yeah, this is actually not bad. And if you guys kind of compare a lot of it, it's just kind of like Horizon, but just in a different area, location, and continuing on the story. So typically, like if you've seen reviews on Horizon Forbidden West or played it yourselves, you guys know the game actually has a pretty good standard and is not like a 4 out of 10 in gameplay. Now, there might be a few different mechanics, such as maybe repetitiveness, or other various things you may not be the most happy with, obviously. But the game itself is pretty well-rounded, well-optimized. The game is like fun, and of course as well, if you guys have played any Horizon game, especially because this is technically like part 3 or 4 for different types of DLCs and game bases, like you kind of understand like what the game flow is. So it's almost also weird if people critique gameplay and etc. when, well, you've probably played the prior games to go and play this, or you own the original game to play it. But right now, like even for other reviewers, we're like a 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, we saw some 9 out of 10s for the DLC, so it wasn't bad, like it wasn't horrible. But right now, this expansion actually is currently getting review bombed on Metacritic. And if you guys know, Metacritic's probably one of the bigger spots to focus your attention on for like user-based reviews and all of that. Not always, obviously, like it's always best to go make your own opinion, or as well, maybe kind of find trusted reviewers or other folks out there. Like I think I do okay when it comes to like if the game's worth it or not, or if it's worth to get on sale, at least in a very broad sense. And like I said, for Horizon, I like the base game. I haven't checked out the DLC. But right now, a lot of folks are not happy with just a lot of different things when it comes to the actual game itself. So a lot of people are getting like an 81 positive rating from other reviewers. So overall, like the actual reviewers are kind of putting it kind of high. The user score right now is currently at a 4.8 and dropping, with significantly more negative reviews than positive ones. And a lot of folks, and I'll show you guys reviews in a second, but people are criticizing the gameplay and then the content for the expansion itself. While others feel aggravated that the DLC is not available on the PS4, but most of the complaints appear to revolve around the plot development that occurred towards the end of the DLC. So basically for this one, we're not going to go too into it or give you guys the rough idea, but obviously I think a lot of it's just more like the LGBTQ type style stuff, and just not really approving from that. So you guys kind of go through a lot of the reviews. And even since the date of this article actually came out too as well, which was actually not even that long ago, it was at 8 a.m. So ever since then, it's actually gone down even more. So they said that the original article was at a 4.8. Now, as of right now, it's at 3.2%, to the point where everyone is like, this isn't that good. For at least for those reviews. So it's at 121 positive reviews, 10 it makes, but almost 300 on the negative side. So right now, it's really getting reviewed bomb too in general. The general Metascore was actually at 81 though. A lot of folks are saying like, it was good, it was pretty decent, you know, it's not bad. But a lot of folks are kind of upset, like, once again, for like the LGBTQ, like kind of pushes into this one, where for this. Yes, this is a PlayStation. This is what gamers want, more alphabet representation, but enough of lesbians kissing, scissoring, when you can charge $100 and add that to playable scenes as a DLC. Boring. Love the storyline. Is there just to push the LGBTQ agenda in your face? Just another woke shot in the wall. Another game ruined by a gay agenda for what? Because want to have fun, not be indoctrinated. Sony should be careful because many brands have been hurt by taking the business focus agenda as a priority. I'll never buy a Horizon game again. They put in lesbian dating just to please the woke culture as well. Ella never showed signs of being a lesbian. Thanks because I didn't buy the DLC and save my money. For me, the franchise died. I refuse to buy this DLC and future games in the franchise. You made Ella gay just to please the LGBTQ agenda as well. Definitely the worst DLC I've ever played in my life. A short, boring, and stupid main story. LGBTQ propaganda. I don't advise anyone to waste their time on this one too as well. And yeah, just a lot of comments like this. You guys are seeing everywhere. Like some people actually are at least having stuff like boring, dull story. Rattling maybe harsh in comparisons to the predecessors. This was way more on the boring side. Very fake feeling to the story too as well. So some of the critiques are obviously way more focused on like, you know, like the sexuality of the characters. For me, I'm like just kind of report on the news itself. Like you guys can make your own decisions on that one itself. I've kind of, if you guys want to have my kind of hot take on this one, I'm also not really the biggest fan of always trying to force or try to include it if it doesn't really fit in the story itself. Just for general, like sometimes movies or TV shows or video games, etc. Sometimes you don't need to have, and that's not to like just for like, you know, actual like LGBTQ type focus. I just don't think that some games need to have love to make a game interesting. Now, I want to focus really more on that. Like that's the more important kind of topic I want to push because I don't want to get canceled or kind of throw anything else. When it comes to guy and girl, girl and girl, guy and guy, whatever. Sometimes you just don't need to have a love interest in a story or an action game or whatever it might be. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it's okay. But maybe a good example is maybe like Last of Us when it comes to that. Like that was like a pretty much like purely platonic, like, you know, kind of connection. It was more of like a father-daughter type connection. You didn't really need to work in love. There was a little bit of love, I guess, kind of evolved into that, like a little bit into the game itself. But like, not really. You don't need it. Like not every game needs that. And I don't want to say I agree with this. Like, cause like I feel like if you can make a character gay or bi or whatever it might be, and it works or it fits, I'm cool with it. Like I'm fine with that. But one of the bigger issues is that if the story is actually dull, and a lot of people are saying the story is kind of mediocre or it's kind of forced too much, I can kind of see their points. Now, I don't think they should be hating on people. I don't think they should be like review bombing. And I think at the end of the day, if it's just not your cup of tea, that's totally fine. I understand it. But at the same time, this is kind of rough. Like, this is, like, not really acceptable, I think, for gamers. Like, if you have your own opinion on it, whatever, that's totally fine. I respect it. You guys can say it. Like, I would never want to censor anyone or whatever. Just always be respectful if you say it. But, yeah, just, like, a lot of folks are like, bro, you ruined the characters. Like, bro, these are abominations, trash, DLC, etc. And it's been rough. It was all around kind of rough. Like, so I mean, in my mind, like something like this like is a good actual feedback. The DLC had good graphics, good, but the game was boring and only was 3 hours long, so it was short, so it really wasn't worth the money for your DLC. Now, these are kind of more the opinions I'd want to see. Like, maybe if you didn't like the story, you think the story is mediocre, totally fine, I can kind of get that. Or it's not your cup of tea, totally get that. But I gotta feel like just the bashing on it's always kind of hard to, you know, do. It's kind of hard to like do and justify in the first place. But like if you kind of say things on the gameplay or storyline or how long the story is, I can kind of get that. I can kind of understand that too as well. But like some of these comments too on top of this, like, you, Sony, this is disgusting to do for your games. Like, bro, it just taking it a little too far. You know what I mean? It's just taking it too far. If they can still make it, I don't care if characters are gay. I don't care if characters are not. If it fits, if it's not forced, if it's actually like a good story, good, well-developed story, bro, I'm cool with it, you know? I don't know. Maybe you guys agree, maybe you guys disagree. You guys can give me your thoughts and comments on this down below. But I just don't really feel like the game itself really deserves to be review bombed as hard as it has been, at least in my opinion. Like, if it was bad, if it was like buggy, if it was not launched and it wasn't optimized, that's what I kind of look more for towards a game. Obviously, the story kind of matters a little bit too as well, if it's just not my cup of tea or whatever. But at the end of the day, I don't know. I think they kind of went a bit too hard on the review bombs for this one, at least in my opinion. So kind of give me your thoughts and comments. Obviously, go be respectful down below. Last but not least, we're actually kind of seeing some really big stuff when it comes to basically big RPGs, which kind of ties into Horizon, where sometimes while they might be a little bit more shorter, or also have to maybe recoup off their losses, etc., where we're running at a wall. We're going to crash. We're CD Projekt's lead quest designer on a big budget RPG. So during RPG's design roundtable, organized by PC Gamer, Cyberpunk as well, they basically had to go talk about how expensive and how rough these AAA games are. They even said where the cinematic Bioware style RPG is just dead. It just doesn't know it yet. Same thing with Cyberpunk, where that game was just very, very lucky on the marketing and the world lore and everything else behind it with Witcher that somehow let the game itself. But at the end of the day, it does kind of go and show that big RPGs are just so much money, such a big time sink, same with MMOs, that are almost impossible to keep going on for this as well. And it kind of goes to show that, like, these people had to go and scheme the game the best they possibly could to make these games happen. We'll love to actually talk about this a little bit more in my general sense, but we'll love to hear your thoughts and comments, especially with how RPGs are being pushed. Let me know if you guys think something like Horizon deserves this review bomb. Let me know if you guys think it's gone a little bit too far, or as well, maybe you guys think I'm dumb. Give me in the comment section down below. You guys can say what you guys want. You guys have my blessing for that. Make sure you guys are subscribed, notifications on Twitter and Twitch down below. Got the Target link, Amazon links, everything else down below too as well. And I appreciate you guys all so much for watching in the first place.